safe streets, vibrant neighborhoods, successful business and commerce. These are things that make a healthy community. We are a diverse community, rural, suburban, urban, a multitude of languages and ethnicities, ages and experiences. We are a collaborative community. Public-private partnerships make us a model community that others want to follow. It is what makes us unique. It is what makes us strong. The employees of Kent County reflect our diversity and seek to serve our communities.
People in this county, in this area, we wrap our arms around each other. We come together to collaborate, to solve problems. We're all working for the good of the whole. And I think that's wonderful. And you can see it. You can see it as you drive around Kent County.
Our impact starts the day a baby is born and a birth certificate is issued, to protecting children from deadly diseases through vaccination, to the public safety and justice provided by law enforcement and the courts, to offering veterans services and caring for the elderly. Every day we work to keep our communities robust.
I think if you are somebody who is interested in serving your community, in building a strong knowledge base and a good group of people to work with, then the county is one of your best employment opportunities out there. It's been completely rewarding in every way I could possibly explain for 26 years, and I feel like I grow every single day still today.
Leading these dedicated employees, our 19-member Board of Commissioners and our County Administrator Controller, along with our elected officials and appointed department directors, placing emphasis on civic involvement, quality housing, vibrant neighborhoods, and strong, solid infrastructure to allow businesses to thrive. Professional, dedicated, collaborative, and innovative.
Behind the scenes, collaboration between foundations, charitable organizations, nonprofits, for-profit businesses, public sector demonstrated through the county, the city of Grand Rapids, the townships, all the cities and the villages in our area. If we don't come together, then we will not have the strength that we have today, and I only hope to build upon that.
Our aim is to make our communities the best they can be. We are involved in exciting development projects, sustainable recycling programs, and creative progressive prevention programming. We partner with elected officials, impacting policy ideas that become great achievements. We seek opportunities to reach out into the community and offer our services to help our residents make Kent County thrive.
Our relationship is solid, both from a staff standpoint at the county level as well as the Board of Commissioners. And they understand what we do and the benefits that we can do for the community, and vice versa. We couldn't do what we do without the help of Kent County.
While most of us are busy running our lives, Kent County's elected officials, administrator controller, and over 1,600 employees are serving the communities where we live our lives, so we can all have a place we are proud to call home. Kent County, its life well run.
Ready. We can get us straight.
Oh, they just called order.
Good morning, everybody, and welcome to the Kent County Board of Commissioners meeting. Today's date is Thursday, December 21st, 2017. The time is 8:30 a.m. We'll begin today with roll call.
Commissioner Antor, Vice Chair Bolter.
Here.
Commissioner Brevi.
Here.
Bulkowski.
Present.
Hennessy.
Here.
Jones.
Here.
Coleman. Korndike.
Present.
Mast. Here. Melton.
Here.
Morgan.
Here.
Hunstein.
Here.
Skaggs.
Here.
Steck.
Here.
Talon.
Here.
Bonk.
Here.
Voorhees.
Present.
Commissioner Womack.
Present.
Chairman Saltfeld.
Here.
Mr. Chairman, you have a quorum.
Thank you, Deputy Clerk. We will then call on Commissioner Mast to provide an invocation and lead us in the Pledge of Allegiance.
Thank you, Chair, and good morning on this 3 days before Christmas. We celebrate the birth of Christ, and I'm going to be saying a few things about that in with prayer, so welcome. Let's pray. Heavenly Father, you are gracious and abounding in love, and we're willing to come to earth as a baby. And you give us love which no one deserves and often rejects. On this day, once a year, we can be reminded of your willingness to leave your mansion in heaven and be in the world so you could conquer the results of sin. Thank you for your amazing willingness to be a vulnerable child and live among us. Your majesty exhibited by your creation and the power of the Spirit within each of our lives. Lord, we ask this day for our commission, our state, and our national elected officials to give the wisdom to know your will, ability to see good in all points of view, to have collegiality and civility in their discussions and decisions, and with citizens whom we are representative. Give us the wisdom to be wise steward of the resources that you have provided. Give us wisdom to be seeking and giving compassion. For those who have lost family members or are ill this day, we give them also to you, Lord. Ask for their special blessing. We pray this, Lord, in your name and for our citizens, on behalf of our citizens. Amen.
Amen. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you, Commissioner Mass. Next order of business is a special order of business, and it's our fourth quarter Quality Service Employee Award. I would ask Darius Quinn, our Human Resources Manager, to come forward. And just a little background, in January 2010, Kent County launched the Employee Recognition for Quality Service program. This program was designed to identify and recognize those employees who have provided outstanding quality customer service to the citizens of Kent County and/or internal customers. So at this point, I would ask Darius to tell us who is going to be awarded this special award for the fourth quarter.
Good morning. It's always a pleasure coming before this body, sharing with you stories of us catching our employees doing something right. So this morning, I'd like to share with you a story about Rachel Westman from the Kent County Veterans Services Department. The individual who nominated Rachel wrote, "Rachel, despite her busy schedule, multiple surgeries, and dedicated devotion to Kent County, has been a volunteer for Vet Sports for the past 4 years. Rachel has led logistical aspects of the Vet Sports Warrior softball game every fall, which has helped over 40 veterans get active and has raised over $30,000 for Vet Sports, Miracle League, and the Helen DeVos Children's Hospital. Rachel does not just work for the county to serve veterans, she dedicates her spare time doing so as well. This is a testament to the level and the quality of devotion the county employees have in their employment with Kent County. So with that in mind, we'd like to welcome Rachel Westman from the Kent County Veteran Services Department and thank her for her contributions to the citizens of Kent County.
Always fun to do those and recognize our great employees that we have here at Kent County. Our next order of business is public comment. If there's any public comment, I would ask those people to come forward. They have 3 minutes to speak. I am not seeing any, so we will move to item 7, which is the consent agenda, and I will call on Commissioner Mast.
I'll move the consent agenda.
Very good. Thank you, Commissioner Jones. Is there support?
Support.
Support by Commissioner Breve. Any questions or comments on the consent agenda? I see none. This is a roll call vote.
On the consent agenda, Vice Chair Bolter,
Yes.
Commissioners Breve,
Yes.
Bukowski,
Yes.
Hennessy,
Yes.
Jones,
Yes.
Coleman,
Yes.
Korndike,
Yes.
Mast.
Melton,
Yes.
Morgan,
Yes.
Ponstein,
Yes.
Skaggs,
Yes.
Steck,
Yes.
Talon,
Yes.
Bonk,
Yes.
Voorhees,
Yes.
Womack,
Yes.
Chairman Saltfeld.
Yes.
17 yeas and consent agenda is passed.
All right, thank you. We move then to agenda number 8, item 8, and which is our resolutions. Today we have 6 of those, and for the first one, I will call on Commissioner Korndike.
Thank you, Chair Salfeld. I would like to move Resolution 100 of today's date to create 3 full-time process line positions from the Department of Public Works.
Support.
Second.
Support by Commissioner Breve. Questions or comments on this item? I do not see any. This is a roll call vote, so I'll call on our deputy clerk.
On Resolution 100, Vice Chair Bolter,
Yes.
Commissioner Breve,
Yes.
Bukowski. Yes. Hennessy,
Yes.
Jones,
Yes.
Kallman,
Yes.
Korndike,
Yes.
Mast,
Yes.
Melton,
Yes.
Morgan,
Yes.
Ponstein,
Yes.
Skaggs,
Yes.
Steck,
Yes.
Talon,
Yes.
Bonk,
Yes.
Voorhees,
Yes.
Womack,
Yes.
Chairman Saltfeld.
Yes.
Mr. Chairman, you have 17 yeas, 0 nays.
Thank you. Motion passes. We move to the next resolution, and I will call on Commissioner Voorhees.
Thank you, Chair Saltfeld. I would move Resolution 101 of today's date, which is from the Dispatch Collection Fund Budget Amendment from Fiscal Services.
Support.
Support by Commissioner Ponstein. Are there any questions or comments on this resolution? I'm seeing none, and it is a roll call vote, so I will ask our deputy clerk to call the roll.
On Resolution 101, Vice Chair Bolter,
Yes.
Commissioners Breve,
Yes.
Bukowski. Yes. Hennessy,
Yes.
Jones,
Yes.
Kallman,
Yes.
Korndike,
Yes.
Mast,
Yes.
Melton,
Yes.
Morgan,
Yes.
Ponstein,
Yes.
Skaggs,
Yes.
Steck,
Yes.
Talon,
Yes.
Bonk,
Yes.
Voorhees,
Yes.
Womack,
Yes.
Chairman Saltfeld.
Yes.
Mr. Chairman, you have 18 yeas, 0 nays.
Motion passes. We move then to our Resolution C, for which I will call on Commissioner Morgan.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. I'd like to move Resolution 102. It's from the Fiscal Services Department to authorize the issuance of the Kent Hospital Authority revenue bonds to Pine Rest Christian Mental Health Services.
Support.
Support by Commissioner Korndike. Questions or comments on this resolution? Commissioner Ponstein.
Thank you, Chair Salvo. Just a quick clarification. I know during the debates of the federal tax revisions, the municipal bonds did get through, but there was a stipulation that if they're ever callable, that they won't be tax-free. Has anyone heard any different? Because I'm only on page 300 of 500 looking for that.
I have not, and I don't know if anyone from Fiscal Service, I don't see Steve here, I see Marvin, but I don't believe so. We could check that out.
You could just email me if you
Yeah,
find
we can
out.
find
If I
out
find
for you.
out, I'll email you.
Yeah, thank you.
Thanks.
Commissioner Manners.
Well, I was just going to say, I was talking with their chief finance officer, and probably he wants to, they got ahead of the curve, I think, on that, you know, issue. You gave such a nice presentation at the Finance Committee.
Yeah, well, I want to thank the Hospital Finance Authority for their support in helping Pine Rest meet the mental health challenges of our, not only community, but our state. And with regard to the tax issue, it's been a moving target. I'll be honest with you, I'm not the expert legal. I've heard the restrictions have gone more to revenue bonds than necessarily this. I think the bonds that Pine Rest are issuing would still remain tax exempt. But we'll have to confirm that going forward. We did want to escalate this process in the event that there was an issue to make sure that they were issued before the end of the year.
Yeah, and it's not so much, it wasn't so much the initial, it's the, if they're called.
Right.
That the callable bonds will not be.
And there's no, the call feature on this, they're a term for 10 years, so that could affect it.
All right, thank you.
Thank you. Any other questions on this resolution? I see none. It is not a roll call vote, so all those in favor indicate by saying aye. Aye. Any opposed? Motion passes. Thank you.
Thank you.
We move then to our fourth resolution, and I will call on Commissioner Mast.
Thank you, Chair. Register of Deeds Automation Fund Budget Amendment, Resolution Number 103. I move adoption of that resolution.
I'll support it.
And support by Commissioner Jones. Questions or comments on this resolution? I see none. I know Lisa has told us a little bit about some of the fund, where the funding is being used for already. So it is a roll call vote, so I will let the Deputy Clerk call roll.
On Resolution 103, Vice Chair Bolger.
Yes.
Commissioners Brevi,
Yes.
Bulkowski. Yes. Hennessy.
Yes.
Jones.
Yes.
Coleman.
Yes.
Korndike.
Yes.
Mast.
Yes.
Melton.
Yes.
Morgan.
Yes.
Ponstein.
Yes.
Skaggs.
Yes.
Steck.
Yes.
Talon.
Yes.
Bonk.
Yes.
Voorhees.
Yes.
Womack.
Yes.
Chairman Salfeld.
Yes.
Mr. Chairman, you have 18 yeas and 0 nays.
Motion passes. We move to our fifth resolution, and I will again call on Commissioner Mast.
Thank you, Chair. Move Resolution 104, which is sort of one of the final actions taken with the formation of the Kent Community Action Department being moved into our County Development Department. So that is a resolution transferring a bunch of the millages and a bunch of monies that follow along with that transfer. So I move Resolution 104.
Support.
Support by Commissioner Brevi. Any questions or comments on this resolution? I am seeing none. This is a roll call vote.
On the passage of Resolution 104, Vice Chair Bolger.
Yes.
Commissioners Brevi,
Yes.
Bulkowski. Abstain. Hennessy.
Yes.
Jones.
Yes.
Coleman.
Yes.
Korndike.
Yes.
Mast.
Yes.
Melton.
Melton, did you? Melton? Yes.
Morgan's yes.
Ponstein.
Ponstein also a yes.
Skaggs.
Yes.
Steck.
Yes.
Talon.
Yes.
Bonk.
Yes.
Voorhees.
Yes.
Womack.
Yes.
Chairman Salfeld.
Yes.
Mr. Chairman, you have 17 yeas, 0 nays, and 1 abstention.
The motion passes. We will move to our final resolution then, and I will call on Commissioner Mast.
105 resolution, I move that for adoption.
Support.
Support by Commissioner Korndike. Questions or comments on this resolution? Commissioner Womack.
Yes, I think it's great that at the correctional facility, the females will have more access to the day room and be able to divide some of the ladies on that are having some maybe some conflicts amongst each other or high-level risk prisoners for violence, being able to have a little more separation so they can have day room. It also says they'll have more access for religious programs, visitations, recreation. Without this wall that's going to be built, it's limiting some of the things that they could do. So I'm definitely going to be supporting this.
Thank you. Are there any other questions or comments on this resolution? I see none. It is a roll call vote.
On Resolution 105, Vice Chair Bolger.
Yes.
Commissioners Brevi,
Yes.
Bulkowski. Yes. Hennessy.
Yes.
Jones.
Yes.
Coleman.
Yes.
Korndike.
Yes.
Mast.
Yes.
Morgan. I'm sorry, Melton.
Yes.
Morgan.
Yes.
Ponstein.
Yes.
Skaggs.
Yep.
Steck.
Yes.
Talon.
Yes.
Bonk.
Yes.
Voorhees.
Yes.
Womack.
Yes.
Chairman Salfeld.
Yes.
Mr. Chairman, you have 18 yeas, 0 nays.
Motion passes, and that completes our resolutions for 2017. I will now move to agenda item number 9, which is additional public comment, if any. Is there any additional public comment? I am not seeing any, so we will move to reports. Item 10, any reports by commissioners? Commissioner Talon.
Thank you, Chair. Just briefly, the Grand Rapids DDA met last week, and it was a fairly short agenda. There is a lot going on downtown, but probably the highlights are just a reminder that the Executive Director, CEO of DGRI and the DDA, Chris Larson, resigned and left, and Tim Kelly was appointed as the interim CEO, and that's going quite smoothly. There's not a plan yet, but there is a committee appointed to look at what's going to happen to replace the CEO, and I believe they hope to have a plan to put before the various boards sometime in January. Thank you.
Thank you. Commissioner Brady.
Thank you, Chair. Just an update from the lead task force. We were not able to meet last week because of the weather, and so we will be having a meeting in January to be determined, but we're still working on finalizing the report. We have our recommendations, but just the language, and we want to make sure it's a good thing to read, and we're happy with the final report that comes out. So that should be out after the first of the year. And then one thing too, I just wanted to mention the health department and Adam London. I really appreciate his advocacy for the PFAS situation that's been going on in the northern part of our county, and I appreciate his work with the governor and our state legislators too, just communicating the needs and being able to advocate for our community.
Very good, thank you. Commissioner Melton.
Thank you, Chair. I actually, Commissioner Brevy said a little bit of what I wanted to from the last community health meeting, and that is how they truly have worked hard on the open forum that they had. They took the time to, before they gave out information, they actually opened up themselves, if you will, to public comment individually for about 2 hours before the meeting started. And I just always find that works so well if we just listen. So often people just want to be heard, and I really commend how they did that. Out of that, and I did share this at the legislative meeting, there is a group with our opioid problem continuing to grow called Families Against Narcotics. And if anyone would like any information, not that you have to join or get on the bandwagon or whatever, but they are a very informative group of persons, and it's led by a doctor out of Lansing, and she is very, very actively involved and has been an outstanding source of information. So if anyone would like that, you are welcome to ask me about it.
Very good, thank you. Commissioner Horndike.
Thank you, Chair. Quick airport update. At our last meeting yesterday, we accepted a big grant from the FAA to rebuild the apron around the airport concourses, and that is a $30 million project that will take approximately 2 years to complete. Thank you.
What is considered the apron?
It's around the bridges where all the planes come in off of the runways to the apron. It's a huge area, and it hasn't been rebuilt since the airport was moved in 1963. It's just been sort of patched. So it's going to be a complete redo and a big improvement to the infrastructure out of the airport.
Very exciting thing at the airport.
It won't be closed.
Yeah, good.
They're going to they'll shut down different bridges at different times. But there'll always be at least 2 bridges open at down each of the 2 concourses.
Great. Commissioner Stack.
Thank you, Chair. The Lakeshore Regional Entity Full Board, which is the PHP for this region, will be meeting later today to deliberate a response to the financial crisis that's facing the behavioral health system in this region. As some of you know, there are significant shortfalls in funding that are resulting in conversations about how we're going to address that, both in Kent County and in the region. That deliberation will address not just how we might enhance revenues, but more specifically how we structurally look at providing services throughout the region and whether that needs to be fundamentally redesigned. So it'll be a challenging discussion. It won't be done today, but we intend to have a good start on it.
Good. Commissioner Mass.
Well, I'll just follow that. I was going to wait till the miscellaneous, but all of you got an invitation to a meeting yesterday afternoon, and I want to extend my appreciation to Interim Administrator Wayman and Matthew Vincentin, Interim Assistant Administrator, really have been coming alongside Network 180 and basically making it a community crisis, because we're facing about $11 million in cuts that we're going to have to make to mental health services in our county. And that is an issue that the Family and Children's Coordinating Council is taking up as their battle cry. So Matthew led a kind of a forum yesterday. There was probably 50 people there. various agencies, some community people, just of kind of what's caused this, what's probably are out. But at this point, Network 180 is implementing about $11 million of cuts. They've laid off 22 people that will be gone as of the first of the year of their internal staff, and then a lot of agencies will need to follow through. We're hoping to have some of those cost-cutting implementations done by 1st of February. But you will probably start hearing that, and I know we will probably start hearing complaints and issues about that at our board meetings. So thank you for the response. Thank you very much for the staff getting behind it.
That continues to be a challenging area that we've been working on all year, but yeah, very good. Any other reports? Before we leave reports, I'm going to ask our interim administrator, Britt, to do a little update on the PFAS issue, since that had come up earlier.
Right. You may remember that the governor received a letter from Adam London, our administrative health officer, a few weeks ago related to the need to help the community to do a better job in communicating and coordinating the issue. And since that time, they've responded, and I believe Adam probably feels a little better about where we're at with the support that we are getting, but we're still not out of the woods yet. And we've gotten really good, strong support from our legislators, McGregor, Verheulen, Affendulis, Winnie Briggs. All of them have been very participatory in regards to the issue. And maybe, Adam, if you have a minute, if you could come up and give us a quick update, that would be probably appropriate for this moment, because it is a big issue. We had a visitor from out of state, very popular individual, come to our community and met with individuals. Aaron Brockovich, last week, Saturday, I believe. So it's becoming a big issue. So maybe Adam can give us an update.
Yeah, so it is a huge issue. Whenever the water and the confidence that people have in their water is challenged, that's a huge problem for our community. It's a big issue, and I'm not sure really where to start right now. If there are questions, I'd be happy to try my best to answer them, either now or afterwards. We're doing the best we can. Working with our partners with the DEQ, Department of Health and Human Services, Plainfield Township and the other townships in that affected area, the city of Rockford and so many other partners, to try to understand this issue as best we can, try to understand where the problem exists, how large the plume is, what the concentration of PFAS is in that groundwater, and what it means for the health of the people who've been exposed to that for so many years. The literature is kind of all over the place. There's not a whole lot of it. There have been some studies done that have shown that there is an increased relative risk for about 6 different illnesses associated with this PFAS. But there's still a lot of unknowns. And so we're doing our best. We're trying to be as transparent as we can be with that community, letting them know what we know as fast as possible in a way that's responsible. My concerns that I expressed to the governor were that we need to do a better job of coordinating and be intentional about our communication and our logistics as public servants across a variety of organizations and departments. We need to be included as a county in this task force that they've created so they understand what the issues are locally and how we can work better with them and with the community to solve these problems, not just here in Kent County, but across the state where they're seeing more and more of these sorts of contamination issues. We need to bring in others, especially at the EPA and the CDC, who have seen this sort of problem, have a greater institutional knowledge, and that's happened now. We've got folks from the CDC and the EPA who are acting as advice and counsel to us and to the state departments. And then, as you all know, we need support financially. For a long time, the state has not met their obligation to fund, to fully share the cost of our mandated local public health services. This is one more thing now that we're being asked to do, and really we need to do. It's the right thing. The challenge, however, is that we have other priorities. vaccinations, influenza, sexually transmitted illnesses, food safety. There are so many other things which we're really called to do and need to do well, and I'm concerned. For instance, last year, we had a very robust influenza vaccination campaign. We had partnerships with the Griffins and with so many other local organizations. There hasn't been nearly as much of that this year because we have been so focused on this response, and that concerns me. But we're doing the very best we can. We've got folks in a variety of our partners who are trying to understand the health effects and what this means going forward. How can we solve this problem? How can we serve that community and all of our residents as best as we can? So again, if there are questions, I'd be happy to take them either now or afterwards.
We have time for a couple questions now, if any commissioners have it. Commissioner Bonstein?
Not really a question, but just a comment. But I mean, I think this upcoming year is going to be a challenge for us as a county as a whole. The road funding has come online. That's coming out of a promise that's coming out of the general fund. So it's going to be interesting, and I think we've got to just watch our belts when we can. And but yeah, the undertaking of just water testing is just unbelievable. So.
Commissioner Stack?
Thank you, Chair. Adam, I think that the legislature just approved some additional funding for the PFAS response. Can you just address how much of that is relevant to what we're doing here in Kent County, and what are the restrictions on its use?
Yeah, so that's accurate. In the supplemental funding bill, which was passed last week by the House and the Senate, there was about $24 million that is designated for PFAS response, not just here but across the state of Michigan. I think there are 6 or 7 sites that have been identified statewide. Within that, there's funding for the development of laboratory capacity at the state, for water sampling, for a variety of other purposes, including $2.5 million for local public health departments. The mechanism for how we access that hasn't been communicated yet, but we are keeping track of our costs. So far, we believe we have a little over $200,000 in time and resources that we've expended, and we expect during the course of the fiscal year to probably approach $500,000 in total time, mostly through staffing, but also through other services that we're trying to put into action. So we're very pleased by the action and very thankful. And I tell you, all of our local representatives and senators have been very, very helpful in this process, and it's been a bipartisan and really a refreshing response from all of our local officials.
Commissioner Melton.
Thank you, Chair. I just wanted to say, I did not say the nice things about the Public Health Department because you were sitting there. I did not see you, Adam. I still mean it, but you all have stepped up and done an admirable job with something that, again, is new and has come on quite suddenly. Obviously been growing for a long time, but thank you.
Thank you, Commissioner Melton. This community is really fortunate to have a team of health professionals that are really outstanding. I'm very proud of them.
Yes, they are.
We have time for 2 more questions. Commissioner Bukowski.
Thank you, Chair. Adam, at the Board of Public Works, we talked about how unsettled the science is on PFAS and what levels. Is there, like, at least a safe, or the best thinking of a safe level, and how far are we away from that for these folks?
Yeah, so kind of a challenging question to answer right now. The EPA has an advisory level of 70 parts per trillion. So far there have been over 1,000 homes tested, and a very slim minority of those have a level that exceeds that. The vast majority are either non-detect or they're at very, 5, 6, 10 parts per trillion. So they're significantly less than that, the vast majority. I think we've got less than 100 that have been identified in excess of that. I'd have to check the latest sampling results, but it's a pretty small minority of those homes. That 70 parts per trillion has a pretty significant safety buffer in it. which creates additional protection beyond where the actual health effect level has been seen in the studies that have been done. The CDC is currently reviewing all of that literature, and they tell us they expect to have a toxicology profile that they're going to release very soon, which will provide more direction on what the actual level should be.
All right, thank you.
Thank you.
Commissioner Vaughn.
Yes, thank you, Chair. This is not unlike the problem that we faced in Plainfield Township in the 80s. We had a problem between 4 Mile and 5 Mile from the landfill there, and that plume reached out into the residential area for those people on the private wells at that time. And it took some time to solve that problem, but we were able to solve it and put them on township water and worked to solve that problem. It wasn't solved instantly, but we did get the problem solved. And so it rises again. We got good people at the township level. My former manager, Bob Holman, and I talked to him last week and what was happening and what was going on, and got good people at the health department, and it just takes time sometimes and money.
Yeah, and Plainfield Township
Appreciate all the
has
good work
been-
you're doing and everyone else that's concerned with that issue.
Thank you, Commissioner. Plainfield Township has been an extraordinary partner. They're really doing what they can to try to deliver the highest quality water possible to as many people as they can.
Good, thank you, Adam. And this is a big issue. I'm sure there's probably other questions, and you'll take, I know from experience, you'll take our questions and get back to us very quickly. So if anybody else has any other questions, don't hesitate to contact Adam. Again, thank you for your work on this issue. I know it's not something you plan for, but you have to deal with it when it comes up. So thank you. We'll move then to agenda item number 11, which is miscellaneous. And is there any miscellaneous by board members today? Commissioner Ponce.
Why do I always go first?
You're the first one to raise your hand.
So all I have to do is just keep my hand down.
Yeah.
So I had a lot to talk about this morning, but we're house sitting a dog that is owned by someone in the law profession, and I've learned that the dog likes getting you up very early and just sit and listen to you talk, and it got a little squeaky toy when it disagrees, so that's been enjoyable. But just a couple quick things. I was at the Granville City Council meeting the other night, and we talk about collaborations and working together, and how West Michigan's different. I heard the manager of the city of Hudsonville speak about a transportation issue, and I know former Mayor Logie was always big on light rail, and that was the solution to the problems, but the infrastructure for light rail is really quite exorbitant. So there's always been a need to get people easier, quicker, cheaper to the businesses in Zeeland, Holland, which have got a sizable footprint. So I'm glad to hear that the city of Hudsonville, city of Granville, County of Ottawa, Zeeland and Holland are joining to look at kind of a task force along with CSX, not to bring light rail, but to utilize that rail line that I think has 5 freight trains a day and 2 Amtrak, to try to work with Amtrak to run a commuter train service between Grand Rapids and the Holland-Zeeland area, so people have a alternate way of getting to work. Do we have the density to do something like that? I don't know, but at least people are going to at least do a quick study, look at it to see if it's worth pursuing. The other thing, Merry Christmas to everyone. It's also the middle of Hanukkah, and there's other cultural holidays that are celebrated. A lot of times it's for people that spend time with their family, just enjoy the time off. But I do want to acknowledge that there's a lot of people that don't have time off that are on the front line every day, and that's our soldiers in combat here and abroad, our law enforcement, our fire department that are on the front lines. I just heard the other day that an officer just pulled over, and you never know when the danger is going to strike, and sure enough, a car couldn't stop in time and then rear into the car. So there's dangers all over if they're spending time away from their family, to ensure that we're safe. There's also people in our hospitals that Christmas is just another day, and tow truck drivers, ambulance drivers. So I appreciate all that the day that I have off is a day off, and a lot of things that we would probably worry about are taken care of. So I appreciate all the efforts of the people out there that are on the front line. Hope everyone have a great holiday.
Thank you. Commissioner Womack.
Yes, I just wanted to say how proud I am of Kent County. And as I conclude my first year, I just really want to thank the chair, interim administrator, Mary Swanson, Adam with the Health Department, Sheriff Stelma, all the commissioners, Gail Sims in the front office, Melanie Gruters, Pam. I couldn't have got through the first year without all of you. You commissioners have been great. Just really to be a voice for my community, and I don't apologize that I have to always challenge our county to be the best, but when I do that, that's not taken away from all the great things I've learned about, and I will continue to let my community in this city understand all of the great things that Kent County has for the people. It's just been a tremendous ride this first year. And if I didn't say everybody's name, it's because one thing I know is you commissioners want to get out of here too. So, Merry Christmas, Happy Kwanzaa, and I just want to thank everybody that I had the opportunity to serve with this year for all of your help. Thank you.
I second that.
Thank you. Commissioner Jones.
Thank you, Chair. I've been taking a little bit of time and wanted to encourage my fellow commissioners to do the same. We have the Meet the Candidates Forum coming up right around the corner when we flip to the new year. This is, again, a process that the county hasn't experienced in over 20 years. I am excited we have this plan for Wednesday, January 10th, 5 to 7 in the Human Services Complex in the Multipurpose Room, 121 Franklin Southeast. It's an opportunity to meet with Wayman Britt and Mark Ryan, who are the two final candidates for the position. And I have also asked my area that I'm elected from to also post this. So I hand-delivered this to my entire area that I'm elected from, along with suggesting that they get it posted for the public to be able to see it and know that they are invited and welcome to attend this, because we all know here it's a critical position, and I've been sharing that with people that I meet, because it's a key position for what we do and how we do it, and we all know that role is responsible for preparing the budget, and that is a significant part of how we run and operate. So anyway, I just thought I would mention that during miscellaneous for everyone.
Thank you. Who's this Wayman and Britt?
Some character.
Yeah, exactly. Anyone else that has any miscellaneous? Vice Chair Bolton.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. I received today probably one of the nicest Christmas gestures any public official could receive. The Whitney Bible Church in my district sent me a letter, Pastor Dave Dietz, that they were praying for me and to help guide me, and I don't know them real well, so it was just a great honor to hear from them, and I just want to acknowledge them and thank them for keeping me in their thoughts. Merry Christmas, everyone.
Is that it? Anybody else? Okay. Hey, I have 2 items. I was going to mention the dates, the upcoming key dates. First, January 4th, that's our next meeting. That's always our organizational meeting. It's usually a pretty short meeting, and then it's usually, and I know it is in this case, followed by a finance committee meeting. So keep that date in mind. You heard Commissioner Jones mention the January 10th forum at 5 p.m. In addition, the next day, Thursday the 11th, from 10 a.m. to 1 p.m., the candidates will be specifically interviewed by this board here in this room. So keep those dates in mind as we continue to work through this. And then my final item for the year, it is the end of the year. I dug this out this morning. It's my memo that I wrote to the board back on January 4th of what was accomplished in 16 and what is the look ahead for 2017. And I actually was pretty pleased to see we had 9 items listed for 2017. We addressed them all, and I'd say we were 8 for 8 of 9 in achieving all of those things that were in that memo. I'll do a similar memo for this next year, give you a little roadmap of what I'm aware of that's going to be coming down the pike in the next year, and probably get that out to you right before our first meeting in January there. And with that, we've finished our work for 2017. I just want to say thank you as chair. You know, I've told other people this, I have been twice as busy this year as chair as I was the year before. And I'm sure it's because of some of the things that were going on and some of the changes. It's been a busy and big year for us, and we've gotten a lot done, and it's all in all gone quite well. And I thank you, all of you commissioners and the staff, for the work to get us here. And I just wish you all a very Merry Christmas and Happy New Year. And with that, I will call on Commissioner Mast for an adjournment.
Thank you, Chair. I move to adjourn, subject to the call of the Chair, to Thursday, January 4 at 8:30 a.m. for the first meeting of 2018.
Support.
Support by Commissioner Breedy.
Aye.
All in favor? Aye. We are adjourned.
Roger Moore.
All right.